Hey guys, it's Ashley and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a get to know me video. I'd actually recorded one back in February, I think. Well, I know it was around the same time I did my very first video. But I actually just never ended up uploading it. So here I am to re-record and get this one uploaded for sure. So today, again, like I said, I'm just going to be doing a kind of get to know me, just kind of giving some basic information about myself, why I started this channel, why I had VSG, and kind of like a little history. So I hope you find it, I guess, entertaining, if anything else. So again, my name is Ashley. I am 28 years old. My birthday is actually May 11th, so I will be 29 in a little over a month. Did I say I was 5'10"? Yeah, I'm 5'10", if I did not say that. And I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy on Monday, March 19th, 2018. I'm not going to say the surgeon's name or the hospital just because I work at that hospital and I live in a very small town. So if you were to Google it or anything, yeah. So I just won't be giving out that information. But my surgeon was wonderful. Absolutely love him. So no complaints at all. If I did not work at that hospital, I would totally share that information, but for privacy reasons, I'm not. So anyway, I live in Southern Illinois. I'm about an hour or so, maybe a little over an hour away from St. Louis. I am, my highest known weight was last May 2017. I was 468 pounds. But whenever I started this whole journey in September of 2017, I almost said 18, of 2017, I was 465 pounds, and that's just the number that I use whenever I do my weekly videos, because that's whenever I started this whole journey. Today I weighed in at 364 pounds, so that means I've lost 101 pounds total, 19 since surgery. So I'm super excited, super happy with those numbers. I honestly did not think in 6 months I would have lost 100 pounds already. So I was a little shocked whenever I, realized it had been 100 pounds. I was like, I was super excited. And, all last week I was kind of like, ooh, I'm getting closer. Ooh, I'm getting closer to 100 pounds. But until I actually hit it, I was kind of like, the day I hit it, which was yesterday, actually. Yeah, yesterday on Easter, I weighed myself because I do weigh myself every day. And I was kind of like, what? 100 pounds. Finally, 100 pounds. I was shocked. But, and then whenever I weighed myself this morning, I was 0.4 pounds less than I was yesterday. But again, I was still kind of like, oh my gosh, 101 pounds. 101 pounds is crazy in 6 months. Like, whenever I would do other diets before, like I was lucky because the longest I think I ever stuck with a diet before was probably 3 or 4 months. And I think the most I've ever lost was, I want to say like 40 pounds. So yeah, 101 pounds, like that's crazy. That's so crazy. I did have to lose 65 pounds by surgery date, just because that's what my surgeon wanted. So I did for sure have to lose 65 pounds, but yeah, I'm shocked. I did want to mention that I actually had, started the VSG process back in 2016. In June of 2016, I went to the seminar and then set up an appointment with the surgeon. And I actually did spend, I think it was 2 months, doing the program and everything. And I ended up talking myself out of having the surgery. I just don't think that I was ready. I know I wasn't ready to commit to the process. In my mind, I thought, I have to, you know, I was like, you mean I can never eat out again? I can never have sweets again. I can never have this. I can never have that. That's the viewpoint I was looking from. And in all honesty, I'm glad that I ended up not having the surgery then, because if I was looking at it from that perspective, and my perspective could have changed in this, you know, in the 5 months that I for sure have to do, for insurance coverage. And I could have changed my mind by the same, you know, or my brain could have changed my thought process about it. But honestly, I went in this time knowing what to expect and knowing that this is what I want to do. I'm committed to this. The first time it was just kind of, I guess I was just so upset about not, you know, thinking, oh, I'll never be able to eat, you know, go out to dinner with friends or something again. I'll never be able to have sweets again and stuff. And that's not necessarily the case. Yes, you can go out to eat. You just have to be way smarter about it, and you have to know when you cannot eat anymore, and you have to focus on your protein. And no, it's not like you should have sweets every single day or every other day or anything like that, but once in a blue moon, if you have a small piece, it's not gonna kill you. So I'm kind of like, look, you got this, girl. You don't have to work, you know, work the program the right way and you'll be golden. So I'm so happy that I ended up waiting. And I think that I'm going to do a lot better, now that I'm more prepared and more, focused on actually following the program, if that makes sense. I chose VSG because, I don't have tons of health issues. I do have polycystic ovarian syndrome. I was finally diagnosed with that last May, so May of 2017. But I know whenever I think it was like 12, they did tell me that they thought that I probably had polycystic ovarian syndrome even then. And again, I'm 28 years old, and so going from 28, I'm sorry, from 12 all the way up until, because I was actually diagnosed a few days before my birthday. So from 12 to practically 28, you know, that's a long time to have this medical condition, you know, just to have this medical condition and it not being treated or anything like that. I would go years without having a period, and that was normal for me. And so it's just, I don't know, that's really the only like medical condition that I have. I do have plantar fasciitis in my right foot, but I don't know if that's related to weight or anything like that. If you don't know what if you don't know what plantar fasciitis is, it's basically just like the ligament or the muscle that's in the arch of your foot. It doesn't completely stretch out right whenever you go to like walk or stand or anything like that. So it causes this kind of like shooting pain. And after you take you know, a few steps or whatever, it kind of dissipates and everything like that. Mine's not as bad as it was 6 years ago whenever I was diagnosed with it. And I very rarely have any pain from it or any flare-ups or anything like that. So, and again, I don't know if that's related to obesity or not. But I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have diabetes or anything like that. But my whole thought process about for getting VSG was so that I wouldn't develop those health issues, so I wouldn't have to deal with those later on in life. Because yeah, while I'm pretty healthy now, other than being overweight, who's to say in 5 years that I wouldn't have been, especially at the rate that I was going, you know, 465 pounds. I mean, on a 5'10" person, I mean, on really anyone, that's a lot of weight. So, and with the polycystic ovarian syndrome and everything, it's just, I had a lot working against me already. You know, polycystic ovarian syndrome makes it hard for women to get pregnant. Not that I'm trying to get pregnant or anything right now, but, or anytime soon, but, I just, I wanted to try to do everything that I possibly could to make sure that I'm living a healthy life. It took a long time for me to accept and love myself at the weight that I was at. It probably wasn't even until maybe even last year, or maybe yeah, it probably wasn't even until last year, I want to say. Maybe the end of 2016, until I really accepted myself and loved myself, even for being as overweight as I was. And then I felt like with that love and acceptance of myself, I was like, okay, you need to put yourself first. You need to take care of you. If you want to be around for a long time and live a happy, full life, you need to be healthy. And I'm not saying that you can't be happy being overweight, because I was generally a happy person. But I am saying that I wanted to be healthy, and that's my number one thing. So that's why I chose VSG. I wanted to be able to, you know, get on an airplane and go overseas, you know, go on trips and, you know, live life, because I feel like I wasn't. I actually went on a trip in 2016 to Vegas. It was for a school thing, and I ended up driving out there with one of my best friends, and you know, it was kind of always this like I've always wanted to drive cross country. If you've ever seen Crossroads with, you know, Britney Spears is in Crossroads. If you've ever seen that movie, you will totally get what I'm referencing. But ever since seeing that movie, I was kind of like, oh, it'd be so much fun to do a road trip cross country. But also, I was scared and mortified to get on a plane at my weight. And this trip was in August of 2016, so I had just started seeing my surgeon and everything, like the month before that and everything. So I was like down. Whenever I saw him that first time, I was 442 pounds. By the time I took that trip, I think I was around probably like 430-ish, I want to say. So I was still pretty overweight, and I've never flown. I've still never been on an airplane. And so I was just kind of like, so that was another reason for me to drive out to Vegas. So it was kind of a win-win, but at the same time, deep down, I did not want to get on that airplane, because I did not want to be that girl that needed 2 seats. You know, because I was going with people from school, and I just think that I would have been embarrassed. So another reason for having VSG was because I know I was limiting myself in the things that I did. I didn't want to go out and do a whole lot. I exclusively had to shop online. I shop at Torrid mostly, and probably like 99% of my closet is from Torrid. And because I was in a size 6 from there, which is a size 30, I've been a size 6 from there for the past 2 years, 2 years. Right around the time I started school was whenever I got into a size 6 from Torrid. And it's just being somebody, so I'm in school for fashion merchandising, which I'll go into later, but especially being someone who's in school for fashion and only being able to shop at one store, you know, it's kind of like, oh my options are plus size is already so limited, and then being at the higher end of plus size, I was extremely limited. And so it was kind of just discouraging. And so yeah, as I'm starting to lose the weight and stuff, I'm getting obviously smaller and smaller, and I can fit into some size 4 stuff, like top wise, because most of my weight is in my stomach. But I'm starting to be able to wear like 4s, some 5s, depending on like the fit of the shirt. And then I have a size 24 pair of jeans, but they're too big, so I'm pretty sure I'm a size 22. And I started out in a size 6 from Torrid, which is again a size 30, and for tops, and then my pants were a size 26 for like skinny jeans, but then like regular jeans. Well, 26 for skinny jeans and boyfriend jeans, and then like a regular pair of like bootcut jeans would have been a size 28. So, I've already, you know, gone down several sizes, and that's very encouraging and exciting because I'm going to be able to start shopping at other places. I love shopping at Torrid, but whenever you've only been able to shop at one place for so long, you're kind of like, okay, I kind of want to branch out. I kind of want to get a feel for other places. So that's exciting too. And just having more options. I need a drink because my mouth is getting a little dry. Anyway, so it's exciting to you know, see smaller sizes. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's that I had surgery all for health specific reasons. I mean, that is 98% of it, and the other 2% is for selfish reasons. I want to find, you know, be able to wear more brands. I want to be able to walk into a store and find stuff, not to exclusively have to shop online, because even with Torrid, they don't have a size 6 in store. I had to buy it online. So, and being at the high end of the plus size spectrum, and I'm not trying to make this like a whole plus size thing, but coming from a student in fashion, there is a lack in the plus size fashion industry. And originally that's why I went back to school for fashion. I wanted to find more brands who would carry higher plus size. I wanted to help fill that gap, and I think that that's still something that I want to help with whenever I'm done with school. But yeah, it's just that there's this gap, and that's disheartening. Even though I'm losing weight, and even though I know that I will no longer be at the high end of the plus size spectrum, I still know that there are women, you know, people out there who are still plus size, who are at the high end, and it frustrates me. I want them to be able to love themselves, and I think everybody should love themselves. But when you can't find clothing that you should be able to find, that's disheartening. So there's my tangent on plus size clothing. My bad. But as a fashion student, it's just, it irks me. So speaking of school, like I said, I am a fashion merchandising retail management student. Not focusing so much on the retail management side. I do not want to be a manager of any type as far as like in the retail, the actual store setting. I would like, okay, sorry, my phone went off. But anyway, I am really interested in the retail buying. So as a retail buyer, I would purchase product from vendors for a company. So say whenever I started going to school, I really wanted to be a buyer for Torrid, which is something I'm still very, very interested in. Just because I'm losing weight, it's not like I don't still want to help plus size women in the fashion industry. But as I've gotten further in school, I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that. Ooh, I kind of like that. So it's kind of more or less what I really am passionate about by the time that I'm done with school. Or you know, it still may take me a while after school. It may take me a few jobs to be like, okay, yep, this is really where my heart is. But I'm still pretty set on retail buying right now. But so anyway, back to my example. So Torrid, if I were a buyer, I know because I've looked at their careers, there are different departments. So say I would be a buyer for denim. You would exclusively buy all denim for Torrid from vendors. Different stores are, you know, all stores are kind of different in the way that their buyers work. So you might buy for the whole store. If it's a small store, you might buy for a specific department. So it can be intimates, it could be, again, denim, it could be tops, it could be bottoms. So it's kind of again, depending on the store that I would work for. So I'm really interested in that. I'm really interested in history of costume, and I'm really interested in product development, and that's just developing the product from choosing the zipper, the buttons, the thread color, the fabric. That's what product development does. So those are the things I'm really, really interested in. I started back to school in January of 2016, and I actually will be graduating with my bachelor's in December of this year. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've actually went to this school back in 2010, and then I had to leave after a few weeks. And then I took a long break, 6 years, and oh my goodness, I don't know if you just heard that, but whew. Anyway, yeah, so I'm excited to graduate. I will miss my school. I love my school. It's a small college. We have 5 degree programs, I think it is. But we're like a small family. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. We go quarterly, so we do 4 quarters a year, 10-week quarters. So you can graduate earlier. I actually technically should already have my associates, but I'm 2 classes away, and they don't have me in those classes until my very last quarter. So I'm hoping we can sub some classes, and I can graduate with my associates in June. If not, I'll graduate with both in December. And then yeah, so I'm super excited about that. This year is going to be crazy with this whole new lifestyle, you know, with BSG, and then with graduating and everything. I have tons of I have some trips planned. I don't want to say tons of trips because in my mind, yeah, I have tons of trips, but I want to go to Vegas again for school, and so what we go for Vegas for is Magic, and it's a big convention that vendors come to, and then retail buyers come to buy their product for the next selling season. So we usually go in August. It's 2 times a year, in February and August. We usually go in August because it's cheaper to go, and it's a 3-day. It's usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And for the past few years, we have flown out on Sunday, and then flown back later on Wednesday evening. So it's really a fun time. Whenever I drove out there, it was a lot of fun. So, and it's a great learning experience, especially since I want to be a buyer. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I will fly this year, because I will feel more comfortable with flying this year. And then I want to go to, I actually was just listening or watching a video yesterday on YouTube at work that somebody was talking about the obesity health like convention, I guess you could call it. And so I'm really interested in that. I was looking at some pricing on that. I don't know for sure if I will go, but I am interested in going. I think it would be very fun and very informative, and just, you know, I just think that it would be an amazing opportunity. So I am hoping to go to that. That's the first weekend in October this year. And then in December, so I have always wanted to go to New York as a fashion person. I just would love to go. And then I'm like a huge Home Alone fan. So, and whenever he goes or gets lost in New York for Christmas, I've just loved that ever since I was a kid. So I've always wanted to go to New York at Christmas time, which is perfect because I graduate in December. So, I've been planning that for the past several years. And one of my best friends is going to go with me, as long as we can both get the time off, because we do work at the same place. I work day shift, she works night shift, and we're a 5-person department. So we're hoping to be able to finagle that somehow and go for a few days, probably for like 4 or 5 days. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I hope that pans out right. In May, I'm going to Memphis for Justin Timberlake concert with the same friend. So yeah, I think that's it. My aunt's supposed to be getting married. She lives out in California. So, that I think is in the works. I'm just not sure when they're getting married, or, you know, they're not even sure when they're getting married. Her fiance is in, the Navy. So, yeah. So I don't know who we is. I could possibly be going on a lot of trips this year, and I'm super excited about it. So if I do, then I will probably vlog it. I think that would be kind of fun. Especially like if I did end up going to obesity health, I think that would definitely be something I would like to vlog for this channel. So yeah, that's the plans for this year. Let's see what else. School, graduation. I'm just looking at my list. So one of my hobbies that I like to do is crafting. I'm actually sitting in my craft room right now, waiting on UPS to deliver a package so I can finish some shirts for some girls at work. But I am like huge into crafting. I actually started a small like Facebook page. So if you're interested in that, I will leave it down below. It's Ashley's Craft Room. I make tons of different like personalized things. I'm like looking around trying to like pick what I'm gonna show you guys. But anyway, so I just wanted to mention that if you're ever interested in like t-shirts or anything like that, you can hit me up on there or even on here. And I would be glad to make something for you. Let's see. I'm trying to like find something that's close to me. I would show you the shirts that I'm making for the girls at work, but it has the company name on it, and yeah. So sorry, I'm like wiggling and pulling, but I made this little it's the shape of a baseball home plate, and I just think it's super cute. So I've made that. I make like the cup decals for like these tumbler type cups. I'm working on some other things like glittering cups like that. I'm actually testing that out right now, but I'm waiting for something to come in to be able to finish it. So yeah, I love crafting. It's something fun. It kind of de-stresses me. So yeah, so I just wanted to mention that. Again, I'll leave a link down below to my Facebook page if you're interested at all. I'm not trying to like sell myself, but I just thought I would mention it because I know a lot of people really like the cups with like the things to help you, to remind you to drink your water. So if you like want one of those, I could always do one of those for you. Anyway, just mentioning it. Excuse me. Another thing is I wanted to mention really quick, especially if you're in the, like, if you're considering losing weight or you are losing, you know, are losing weight, and because you end up going, especially with weight loss surgery, you end up going through clothes so quickly. And I was just going to mention, if you've never heard of it, Poshmark. It's an app you can do on your phone. I know that you can do it online too, but it's easier using your phone or using the app. And you can sell stuff, and I will actually leave a code down below. For me, it actually gives you a $5 credit. It does me too if you end up ordering something, not necessarily from me, but like from anyone. But I'm more or less just telling you so you can get a $5 credit. And I've actually ended up selling tons of stuff. I mean, I've been using it for a few years now. And, but in the past couple months, it's especially like starting to, drop sizes and stuff. I just post up stuff on there, and, you can really make some good money. So I'm just gonna list that down below. Again, it's called Poshmark, and it's an app. Just thought I'd mention that if you've never heard of it. I do want to kind of tell you a quick, probably not going to be quick, but kind of tell you why I gained weight, I guess, and like all that kind of stuff. So, my mom actually passed away whenever I was 8. So in 1997, she passed away in a car accident. And her and my father were not together at the time. And so, and my dad wasn't necessarily stable on his own. So my mom's boyfriend at the time of her death actually got custody of me, my brother, and my sister. I have tons of siblings between the whole family tree. It's like a crazy situation, or I don't know. I have a crazy family tree. Let's just say that. But anyway, so my mom passed away, and her boyfriend at the time got custody of, again, me, my sister, and my brother from my mom. I do have another brother from my mom, but he has always lived with his dad. And him and I aren't like super, super close or anything, which is sad. But anyway, then my mom's boyfriend remarried the following year. It was probably like 6 months later, I think. And so if you ever hear me refer to somebody called as my stepmom, that's who I'm referring to, is her. Her name is Ginger, and she is a wonderful stepmom. Even though back then I did not think so, I felt like she was always trying to take my mom's place, but in reality she was just trying to fill a void. So I used to give her a lot of grief growing up, but as I've gotten older, I understood our relationship a lot more, and understood, you know, I just finally realized how important she was to me, and that she wasn't trying to take my mom's place. But growing up, that's how I always felt. And then my mom's boyfriend at the time, I will refer to him as my guardian dad. He has actually since passed away. He passed away in 2016, but him and I did not have a great relationship. He just wasn't a great person. So anyway, we try not to like give out too much information and bore y'all, but anyway, so 10 years after my mom passed away, my grandpa on my mom's side passed away. And then 2 years after that, whenever I was finally starting to reconnect with my dad's side of the family, like my biological dad's side of the family, my dad passed away. I have complications from lung cancer. So that was kind of a hard time. But anyway, after my mom passed away, I turned to food, because I felt like we weren't allowed to talk about my mom. Especially with my guardian dad around. I just felt like we could, like, it was just kind of like well known, like, just don't talk about it, pretty much. And so I just turned to food. Being an 8-year-old child who lost her best friend because my mom was my best friend, it was hard. So, you know, and he refused to take us to counseling and everything like that. So it was just, you know, how is an 8-year-old child supposed to cope with losing their mom, their best friend? You know, it was just, and then with this whole him getting custody, and then with my stepmom coming into the picture, it was a lot to take, especially at my young age. So I really turned to food, and it was a couple years, and then all of a sudden, like, weight really started packing on. I know that I was not as active as I had been, and things like that. And then whenever I would try out for sports and stuff, or wanted to try out for sports and things, my guardian dad made me feel less than. He, you know, would say, oh, well, you're too, you know, heavy for that, or you're too big for that, or, you know, say things like that. And so it just really kind of like messes with you. And then with my grandpa passing away, and then my dad passing away, and then a couple years after that, my grandma on my dad's side passed away. So it was like with each death, it would just, I would revert to how I coped with my mom's death. I would turn to food. And, you know, and by that point in time, I had, you know, developed this, let's eat out, let's, you know, and then whenever my grandpa passed away, I was working. I had a job, and I worked at a restaurant, and I would eat there a lot. And so it really spiraled from there. It got to the point within the past few years where I was eating out every single day, 3 times a day. And that's how I ballooned up to 465 pounds. And it's sad that I got this big, but I'm glad that I am taking the steps now to lose the weight and become healthy. That's kind of the condensed version of my life, of how I gained the weight and everything. I have tried out for The Biggest Loser. I tried out for extreme weight loss. I actually did get a callback on extreme weight loss one year, but they ended up not casting me, and actually it was really strange. They kept saying you need to be more emotional about talking about your parents and stuff, and I'm just kind of like, for someone who, again, it's now been 20 years since my mom passed away. That's 20 years of talking about it, explaining it to people and things like that. And in a sad way, you just become numb to it. And not that it doesn't affect you, but you no longer cry every single time you talk about it. Not saying that you're that you don't mourn those people still, but because I do, I still mourn the loss of my mom every single day. It's just not necessarily crying. So they made me feel like, oh, there's something wrong with you because you're not crying whenever you talk about your the loss of your family, and especially your parents. And I was just kind of like, well, whenever you have talked about it for years and years and years, you know, you can't just cry, you know. And I felt like they didn't get that, and I don't know, it was an interesting experience, and you know, it just wasn't meant to be. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. I've done Weight Watchers, I've done, clean eating, which was high protein, low carb, pretty much, which is what you do for VSG and stuff. But I don't know, I was trying to do it on my own, and now I'm doing it with the help of my doctors and my dietitian and things like that. So you have support doing it. So yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Don't want to bore you guys too much, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my life story. That's what's going on in my life now. So yeah, I hope I didn't bore y'all. I hope that you found it interesting or something. I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.